Wild week. Dow closes over 50,000. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, February the 8th, Super Bowl Sunday. Big game today. We'll give you our plays that we like later. In the meantime, the Dow does close over 50,000 after having a pretty wild week and the Dow was actually the strongest of the group. It was fairly flat, but it was down quite a bit coming into Friday. And of course, Friday the Dow rallied over 1,000. It went from oversold to overbought all in one day. So I guess everything is great. We don't have high inflation. We don't have the Fed sticking it to us. We don't have all the moronic things that we think about. Oh, maybe we do. Maybe it's just a bunch of bullshit. And of course, that's really what we believe, that there is a major meltdown coming at some point. Again, we don't predict it. We've been talking about it for quite a while. But just a little bit more proof that the indexes, the Dow, the stock market itself is at 306 times the M2 money supply, which again has never been this high in history. The closest it came was 302% during the internet bubble. So that's just another warning sign, something else to chalk up. But again, the Dow did close at over 50,000, a new all-time new high. Oh, we're not going to say that it can't go higher. We don't fight it. We just continue to watch it. And of course, inflation on the rise. Beef prices are on the rise. We continue to hear the BS that they couldn't replenish the herd. There's always a little funny business, but I think we'll find out at some day that this was more contrived and more manipulated, that they kept prices higher. Again, they just had the big cattle conference. And again, listen, I think that prices are ridiculous, and certainly, if I were to predict, I say they'll come down after St. Patty's Day. Challenger job cuts in January, the highest since 2009, so the highest in 16 years. Jobs are going away. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. AI is replacing many management jobs. Major Fortune 500 companies, NVIDIA, Amazon, all of them are replacing jobs. Meta, they are eliminating jobs, not replacing them. They are not adding new jobs. They are ending jobs. Where are those people going to go to work? So again, let's talk about how great everything is going. As your friends and neighbors lose their jobs, manufacturing recovery, the ADP jobs number says that it's now down 22 straight months. Now, we did have an ISM manufacturing number that showed an improvement, but in general, the manufacturing is down again 22 straight months. Again, just another warning sign. Again, it doesn't mean the markets are going down tomorrow. Just another thing to think about. The ADP payrolls, which came out last Wednesday, weak again. The small employer, the employer from 10 to 50 employees are getting crushed, which we talked about here for years. If this was coming, they're finally letting it come to the headlines. Okay, this is the problem when you allow these huge companies to just continue to get bigger, and then you classify them as too big to fail. You screw the little guy. I mean, how could somebody compete when the bigger guys got a better deal on everything that they do, and the little guys got to overpay? So again, it's an unfair practice. The way that the Federal Reserve has created things, the way that the government has created things, it has really been with the intention of destroying a lot of the small business. Again, you can say whatever you want. You can say I'm wrong. Well, hey, maybe I am. Bitcoin plunges 48% since last year. Again, this is the problem, that we get crazy, we buy it up, and things sell off. It's not a surprise. Listen, the stock market's gone down 48% before. The metals were going down 48%. Hell, silver was down 30% in the last week. You have to remember that it's a market and people get panicked. And somebody had asked me a question, and I want to address it, about silver. What happened with silver? Well, you had so many buyers. When a chart or a market goes parabolic straight up, it can only go one way at some point. The buyers become overwhelming, and they buy at any price. And then, of course, there's no more buyers. So it falls off of its own weight. And typically the panic ensues, like the FOMO pushed it up, the panic ensues and pushes it down. It's not a surprise. It doesn't make it bad. I think it's probably a buying opportunity. But that's what you're looking at. Okay. So the plunge is not that big a deal. Yes, it's a big deal if you're holding it, but it's really a bigger deal if you over leverage yourself. Okay. But I think interesting. Um, Florida is going to make gold and silver an official means of payment. So we've talked about this years here. We talked about it in Missouri a year or so back. You're seeing that people, that government, that small state government are getting rid of it and trying to say that the fiat currency system is no good. It's a piece of shit, which we've said here all along. Okay. That the fiat currency system is a nothing more than almost a cartel criminal enterprise. Okay. So you're seeing this happen, and of course that becomes real money. The robot industry is shifting into high gear. You know, this goes back. I used to use the example of Domino's Pizza. That the truth is, the Domino's could almost run as a vending machine. Okay, you could almost have nobody there, order off of a kiosk, go right into the computer that goes right into the robot that makes the pizza or the machine that makes the pizza. We saw it happen at McDonald's. We're seeing it happen everywhere that they're eliminating people, which is not good. Yes, it's great for the owner, but it's not great for the economy. It's not great for the people. Inflation continues to be on the rise. There are restaurants here in Las Vegas that have robot servers. So again, I think that we're missing the big point. I think we're missing the picture that we aren't equipped and prepared for this. But we'll talk about that more in our commentary. And of course, we still have the ongoing problems with ICE, which is, you know, why people don't want law and order is beyond me. But it's typically, and listen, you know I'm a libertarian. You know I voted for Trump. So again, I don't hide from that. I'm not ashamed of that. I think I'm proud of that. Okay. But it seems to me that more of the Democratic side, more of the left, is the ones who are fighting the ICE. They are fighting law and order. And who the fuck would fight law and order? That's what I want to know. Who would be the fighter of law and order? Who doesn't want to be safe? Okay. I don't get it. I don't understand it. To me, it's a joke and it needs to be stopped, but it's got to stop with you, the voter, who continues to vote these idiots in. And again, we can have good Democratic candidates that want to uphold law and order. I don't care what you are, who you are. I want law and order. And I would hope that everybody here would want the same thing. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Super Bowl Sunday, February the 8th. We're going to stop by over break and we will be back right after the break with more. What's up, kids? Just want to remind you that we do have sponsors for the program. And of course, they are brokerage partners, and the first is Trader Brokerage for your equities and futures needs. And great news for my friends in Canada, my friends in the UK. Okay, Trader can do futures in Canada and in the UK, which was not the case before. Hard to find a broker. So now Canada can be done, which means you can use our automation for futures, not equities yet, but futures, okay, through Trader Brokerage. There's a link along the bottom, but certainly check it out, okay? We certainly want to help you if you want, but again, they're $10 a month, which is absurd for equities, okay? And they're the lowest in the industry for futures. Saves me over $100,000 a year in commission. All of our automation works only with Trader. So I urge you to check them out. Okay. And again, I think it's unbelievable. And it's exciting for my Canadian friends and others that couldn't get the service before. And of course, our friends at CTG Group, Capital Trade Group. We've got some brand new products coming out through them. In fact, this week, gap fill trades, all kinds of things. They are partnered with us on a lot of things. Best customer service in the industry, commodities and futures, great operation. And of course, the Joy of Mom, which again, we're trying to share with everybody because it's one of the greatest apps and greatest programs ever. Check it out. and of course our high school program, which trying to educate people, which in these day and age, the pushback is sad that we don't want to educate our children. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report right now. Welcome back. Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, February the 8th, Super Bowl Sunday. Big game today. Big game last week in the market, so a pretty wild week. All the finish, the Dow did close up new highs. We saw on Friday a run from oversold to overbought in the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq. Not a surprise. We talk about it all the time. Play the probabilities. We expected a rip your face off rally. I didn't know it would come Friday, but we certainly got it. But in the meantime, I think that things are ugly. I think the market's overvalued, which we talked about in the beginning. I think that you're watching. You just saw Bitcoin get crushed, which is an indication. I think you saw the VIX rise and fall, which we told you when it spikes too fast, it's normally going to fall. At the end of the day, okay, there's a lot of reasons to be concerned. It doesn't mean that you get out and you sell everything. We've seen some wild moves in the metals. I think you have to be very careful. I think when you watch a market, especially in commodities, not so much in equities because companies go out of business, but commodities don't go out of business. I think when you watch something go too fast, too high, too far, too high, or too fast, too far, too low, you can expect some sort of reversal, some sort of mean reversion, which I think is very important to understand. So somebody, again, I'm going to answer the question again, just to remind everybody, when you saw silver go to 120 straight up without at a 90 or a 120-degree angle, you knew that there was no way it could continue and it was going to come down, and it did come down. And of course, once the selling comes, the panic sets in. So in the meantime, as we look at the markets, the dollar in almost at that 98 level where we want to sell, came close to hitting it on Friday. We are long it until then. The euro currency, we are still short, and it's moderate. Bonds and notes, we did get short. They did reach our target sells, and I think interest rates are still going higher, which means these products are coming lower. The Bitcoin got, as we know, crushed, had a big day Friday, but you're going to get big days after the market's down. I mean, listen, Bitcoin was down 8 or 9,000 on Thursday, so you had a 6,000 back rally on Friday. So what? Again, we like Bitcoin over the long haul, and we'll be looking to probably buy it somewhere back down here again in the 65,000 level. Gold, silver, and platinum had up weeks, but they were still, they're really consolidating, which is the truth of the matter is very healthy. We will be looking to buy them again. I think that there is some value there. It just you want to look at the right prices and where it is to get in. And right now, within consolidation, there's no reason to trade it. When we do settle in, we will find a spot and we'll most likely be on the buy side unless there's some crazy move to the upside. Copper still hovers around that $6 level. I think copper's just about through, and we will be a seller at 6. Grain markets had a decent week, and I think we look to buy them. We are still long, and I think you look to buy them continued. I think they're going higher. Cattle and the hogs are still they're sitting around. They churn back and forth, all to go nowhere when it's all said and done. And nat gas, we're a seller at 4, we're a buyer at 310. And crude oil, we're a seller at 65, and it closed at 63. Again, I think bottom line is I think we're going a lot lower. It doesn't mean we're going lower tomorrow. Again, I want to be clear. I will tell you, we do an update every day, so you will know when I think. In fact, on Friday's update, I said look for the rip your face off rally, and of course it came. So again, I'm not saying that I know how to predict it. We're playing a math model, and that's really what it comes about. A lot of the news are warning signs that will play eventually. So be careful, be ready. And of course, tomorrow will be a big nothing because everybody will be tired from the Super Bowl tonight. In the meantime, let's step out for our final break and come back with our commentary and, of course, our Super Bowl pick. What's up, everybody? Remember our sponsors, Tradier Brokerage. Very exciting now. Can do futures through Tradier in Canada, in the UK, in Australia. So check it out. I know I have a lot of fans and a lot of people there. So check that out. But they are also great, $10 a month for their equities and options. Saves me over $100,000 a year. Capital Trading Group, great partner, coming out with new products. Joy of Mom, high school program. Check them all out. They're all scrolling along the bottoms here. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and of course, my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, but Super Bowl Sunday. Anyways, we could give a little commentary, and this is in the jobs market. We continue to get the bullshit on jobs. There was supposed to be a jobs number on Friday. It will be now Wednesday because the government was shut down again or whatever. Who knows what's going on? But we're losing jobs. We're losing jobs at a very, very scary pace. It is a tragedy that everybody continues to ignore it. But you have all the big companies laying off, and they're not laying off minimum wage people. They're laying off good earners. And I think there has to be a better plan to do this. And what they're really doing is they're tormenting small business who cannot afford to do that, to do what's going on. And I think this is the inequities when the Federal Reserve made the banks too big to fail, when they made some of the insurance companies too big to fail. What they've really done is they've destroyed the core, the heart of America, the small business guy. And I think you can blame the government and the Federal Reserve for destroying the small businessman. Based on what they're trying to do and what they have done so far, the odds of another Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk coming through again are very minimal because of the policies in place, the way that we do business now. So I think that it's a tragedy. I think something needs to be done about it. And I think we need to have more of a free market and not so much Fed and government control. In the meantime, Super Bowl Sunday, we do like the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I bet them on the money line. I didn't lay the 4.5. Okay. But I give you one prop. It's a very high risk prop, but I do like it, and it's got a chance to pay off. And that is Travion Henderson, receiving yards, 10 yards pays 2-1, 20 yards, I'm laddering it. So 10 yards is 2-1, 20 is 5-1, 30 is 9-1, and 40 yards is 13-1. He could do that on one screen pass if he gets in the game. Now, there's a lot of potential he might not play, right? He only gets a few snaps, but he's very exciting, very dynamic, and at one time was for the Offensive Player of the Year. Check it out. Have a great Super Bowl. Enjoy it and enjoy yourselves. Thanks so much, everybody. This is Bubba's on the Line for Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.